welcome to another week of Ask a Reporter.
Hi guys.
Hi, I'm Amelia.
And I'm Jack, and we're back again.
Yes, we are. Jack has tea. He has a nice cup of tea. Maybe we should make this a thing where we have a cup of tea every time.
And biscuits.
Oh, biscuits! Yes.
Very
lovely.
fancy.
What's your favourite kind of biscuit?
Oh, is that one of the questions?
No, I mean yes, little Amelia, as I always say.
I like Tim Tams.
Oh,
Do you?
Tim Tams.
Yeah.
You mean unbranded chocolate biscuit that we
Unbranded
won't
chocolate,
discuss.
generic biscuit.
I like ginger biscuits.
Oh.
Yeah, they're my favourites.
Okay.
The crunchy ones.
Ginger.
Which I know that's a weird choice, isn't it?
It is, but no, that's
It's
fine.
simple, it's nice.
Everybody's
also the peppermint
different.
ones, the ones with just chocolate and peppermint.
The generic peppermint
Generic,
ones.
unknown peppermint ones. Anyway, enough about biscuits, guys, because we need to talk about Australia's population,
Yes.
which was Jack's story
Yes.
this week. So, do you want to give us a little rundown, or should we just launch into it? What do you prefer?
Oh, well,
We do have a lot of questions.
we have a lot of questions.
Well, you can tell us a little bit, maybe fill in everyone on why we have been running this, because we did have part one.
Yeah, so this was part two of a two-part special on Australia's population. And it came from Four Corners did a big investigation on Australia's population. And obviously Australia is getting a lot bigger. We've got a lot more people here than we used to. So part one was kind of looking at the history and how Australia got to where it is today. And then my story looked into the future and what we'll need to do if the population does continue to increase, and what things will need to change, or how we can solve some of those issues now.
And it is likely to increase.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. So that brings us to our first question.
Oh.
Now we have Canterbury Public School, and we have Bilal asking, how will a larger population with more people affect Australia? Thanks for your great question.
So it'll affect it in a number of ways. With more people means that there's going to need to be more housing, so we're going to have to find some solutions for that. You're right. It also means we're going to have more healthcare centres, so we're going to have more schools. Basically, we're going to have more of everything.
More of everything, right?
More BTN officers. Maybe.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe.
Probably not, though, because we can just, broadcast.
True.
As we normally do. Around Australia.
Yeah, true. All right, we'll have
probably,
one BTN.
Yeah, one BTN, same amount of
Two
reporters.
hospitals?
Two hospitals.
Two extra hospitals. No, but yeah, so it is going to, basically we are going to need a lot more buildings to house all these people. Another big thing is transport. So, we can't have all these people driving around on cars. It's not great for the pollution. It's not great for the people stuck in traffic. So we need to look at ways that we can move people about, public transport, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely don't need more traffic in some big cities like Sydney and Melbourne, that's for sure. So definitely things to think about. So it's a very good question.
Yeah.
So Jay would like to know, Jay is from Matella Road Public School, thank you for your question. What is the reason that people are actually moving to Australia, do you think?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you move here? Really? There's the beach,
We're here.
There's BTN. You guys are here. There are a number of reasons why people move here. I guess you could say the beach is one of them. We have a beautiful, outdoors. We have beautiful landscapes where people can explore. The air is really clean as opposed to some other countries. We have really good healthcare systems and education. It's a pretty good place to live.
It's a really good place to live. I've lived in England at one stage for a while there, and I like England, but I have to say, coming back to Australia, where you drink a tea, as a cup of tea. I'm not sure what that accent was, but living in Australia it's like nowhere else in the world. So, and some of you guys would know too. I'm sure there are some expats there. But yeah, so Australia's it's a great place to live. So there are so many reasons why people live here, just like you said, and why people move here.
And we're quite multicultural as well. So it makes sense to have people coming in from overseas because we've got such a good mix of people.
Mm-hmm. So my parents actually, both of them, my whole family, we all migrated to Australia. So we're migrants. So I was actually born in New Zealand.
That's right.
Yes, and I came over when I was a little baby.
Girl.
Yes, I've got this passport with like a little photo of me from when I was a tiny little baby.
Do you still use it?
Yeah, they're always like, wow, you really need to update your photo? You look really good for your age in this picture.
I actually migrated here from New South Wales.
You did?
Yeah, not the same thing.
Not quite the same.
No.
Well, you are 100% not a migrant, really.
Yes,
well.
yeah. So...
For those of you who don't know, Jack is Indigenous Australian, so but that's a funny combination here, isn't it?
There you go.
So yeah, my parents came over and moved here because they thought it was a pretty good place to live. So my dad came from Barbados, which is quite far away. It's in the Caribbean.
Far away.
Yeah, and my mum came from England. So it's...
And you were born in New Zealand.
And I was born in New Zealand. It's all a bit confusing, but honestly, thank you. Yeah, but honestly, it's I'm so glad that we came here, and so I think it's a great thing to have lots of different people. Otherwise, hey, if Australia didn't let that happen, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So that's one of these questions that we're kind of talking about.
I would be doing
this
by myself.
Yeah, you would be. Well, probably not.
Probably
someone else
not.
would be here. But this brings me to a question from Medi from Mark Oliphant College. What if the government stopped letting people into Australia? So I thought that was an interesting one to read into.
Well, yeah, so it would, if the government did stop people coming in, it would obviously, it might not reduce the population, but it would kind of keep it steady. It would keep it at kind of where we are now. And that's actually something that the government's looking at doing. So at the moment, I think they're trying to make it harder for people who are here on a working visa. So they come from overseas to work here, and they have a visa that says you can work, but you're not for a certain amount of time. You're not a permanent resident. But after you've worked for a bit, you can apply for a permanent residency. So they're just making it harder for people to do that. Yeah, but I guess, it would kind of just, balance out the population growth. But and of course some people think that is a good idea, other people don't. Yeah. And
it's always a controversial sort of topic, I think, whenever the government decides they don't necessarily want to let people come here, because, and same with any government, there are lots of places that sort of restrict who can come and from which countries and things like that as far as migrants and those visas go. So, it's always something people talk about. I don't think they'd ever, completely stop, Maddie. I think they would probably always let some people in. Otherwise, I think there'd be a bit of an uproar because, hey, we need lots of different people, don't we? There was actually a stage which was probably I think it was in part one of the population story, where we were asking people to come to Australia. I find that it's so interesting, isn't it? We were really wanting them to come.
To grow the population, to grow Australia.
So now look at this, we're going the other way and we're really worried about having too many people now. So it's a funny one.
Times have changed, I guess.
How funny. I actually have another one from Medi. I'm sorry. Hello again. And thank you. How many people moved to Australia in a year?
Oh, in a year. Well, I don't know how many people moved here. I do know that the population increased by, I think, 400,000 people in a year. So that was between 2016 to 2017.
So was that also babies being born as well?
Yes.
Okay, so that was migration and little babies.
And little babies who...
I couldn't believe your stat there. What was it at the beginning of your story again about how many babies are born all the time?
Oh, yeah, it was one born every 104 seconds.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of little babies being born.
Okay, we'll do 104 seconds
for 104 seconds. We won't do that to you guys. But
wait, hang on, no.
I reckon Matt did that in a population story once. Do you remember that story? Some of you guys, I don't know, you might remember it. I reckon he sat there for a while waiting for the next baby to be born.
That was the whole story.
It was 104 seconds.
We could work it out though. 104 seconds.
It's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. All right, well, Daniel would like to know, Daniel is also from Mark Oliphant College, what was the population in 2017 and 2018? That's the population of Australia. So, don't know how much it's changed, maybe just generally now, I guess.
It was
what is it?
About 24 million?
I think it's just over 24.
Just over, because it was 24 in 2016, we reached 24. So, it's slowly getting bigger, but it's around that. And what is interesting, and this, I might be answering a question later. I don't know. I'm not controlling it.
That's my job.
Oh no, I forgot my point.
Oh no, sorry. you want to go on to
You've
the next one?
distracted
I'm
me.
sorry. I do this all the time. La 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 la. Da, na, na,
24
na.
million.
This is the elevator music that we play while Jack
24
thinks.
million.
Well,
It might come up later.
it'll come up later, I bet. Okay, so...
I'm just waiting for that baby to be born.
Great. He's just hanging out.
We've got 10 seconds.
And then, 10 seconds. There you go.
No.
Greystanes Public School, 6A. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hey, guys.
I'd like to know, will Australia ever reach a population that can't be sustained? And so this is sort of, what we're talking about generally, I guess.
I remembered my point.
Oh, okay.
Should I say
all right.
that first?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so sorry to go back. We're 24. We're around just over 24 million. In 1997, I think it was, they predicted that the population was going to be 25 million in like 40 years.
Wow.
So how long ago was that? That's only been 20, and we're almost there.
In 1997. So that's a massive, they really didn't do their numbers, did they? I mean, they were way off. We're already there.
Who were you doing
Guys. So I wonder then, are our predictions going to be, well, not ours personally.
Well, not ours. Ours will be
experts. ours are always right.
We can see into the
it's interesting that you
future.
can't really tell though, can you, what's going to happen? I guess there are so many variables. But you would suspect at this point it's probably more likely to go up a lot than it is to,
down.
I doubt it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
unless everyone moved, where could we all go?
Well, we have spoken about our love of Sweden. Was it Sweden?
Sweden.
Yeah, because they had the great recycling.
Vikings are from Sweden.
The Vikings are from there. Norway was the happiest place on earth last year. Who was the happiest one this year? I should know that.
Australia. No,
we were ninth or something. We were in the top 10. I think it was Sweden. Sweden was the number one again.
Well,
no, Finland. It was Finland.
If everyone moved to Sweden, then the population would go down.
Very
Don't
cold.
move.
Don't
It's
move.
very cold.
It is cold. That's one thing we have going for us here. It's quite warm
the
most
beaches
of the
are
time,
nice.
depending where you are. But all right, so
Anyway, we had another question. Sorry about that, guys.
Back to things. So we get on tangents, Jack and I. Will Australia ever reach a population that cannot be sustained? Was the question from Greystanes.
Yeah. Well, that's Thanks for the question. It's really interesting. I mean, we could predict. We said we'll get predictors before. But I mean, it definitely could reach a population. I don't know if the government would let it get to that stage. No. If they're already thinking about it now, then, they're putting into place plans for when we get more people moving here or where, the population increases. So I don't think it would ever get to a state where we've just got too many people. But, that would make a good, sci-fi film.
It would.
We would all live in, stacked up
how it
boxes.
times out. Oh, I think that's a thing already. I bet that's been made. It's a great idea, though. Yeah, good one.
I'll pitch it to someone else.
Steven Spielberg. So, how much of Australia's population is made up by people from overseas? And that's Sophie from St. Teresa's.
Yeah, good question, Sophie. So I believe if we go off the 2016 census, there was 6.9 million people living in Australia that were actually born overseas. Yeah, so that's quite a lot. It's about 30%.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, there you go.
You were one of those 6.9 million.
6.9 million. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that is. I mean, that's it's a lot, but it's not really, is it?
Well, it's 30%.
4 million. Yeah, so 30%. There you go. Yeah.
So it is quite a.
I suppose it is quite a lot, actually. No, it is actually quite a lot now I think about it. All right, so we have. Let me see. Ellamore Vale Public School. This is Jeff.
Hey guys.
Thanks, Jeff. Do you think that Australia's population should stay the same? What's your opinion?
Look, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any problem with people moving here or the population increasing. I think as long as we have solutions for when there are more people and we start working on them now, I think there won't be a problem.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, Jack. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's like I said. I mean, I wouldn't be here if we didn't let people come here from other countries. So I think that it's always great to be more multicultural and just have people from different places.
Yeah.
And I just agree that we just need to be able to handle it. And I think we've got a lot of space. It's just a matter of building the infrastructure and managing managing our resources. So, you know, we're already kind of doing that anyway. You know, thinking about the environment it's much more on people's minds now. So, you know, there are different ways that, hey, you can use less resources and less energy and things like that.
Definitely. And also, you know, with more people, it means more businesses, more money coming into the country. You know, we can grow the country's economy. So there are a lot of positives.
That's it. So very good question. Now, Hayley from Paxton Public School, hi Hayley, would like to know, will the population affect me, and that's Hayley, when I try to buy my first home?
Ooh.
Hayley, I just love that you're thinking that far ahead. I don't know how old you are.
Are you putting away money
You're
each
probably
week?
not as old as I am, and I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. So good job.
I guess we probably should. We should be thinking about that.
Oh no, I haven't bought my first home. Have you?
Yeah, no.
But it's a very good question, and
it is a good question, and I mean, well, I guess we don't know what housing will look like in the future, so. It could affect that.
Well, so that's one of the things that they are, you know, worried about is how do you house everybody, because everyone needs to be in a house, right? So
put them in cocoons.
Yeah, cocoons, like floating
like
ones?
a caterpillar,
or I was imagining like these like floating like little things, and they're all stacked on top. Like I mean, you could just have an apartment building. That's kind of like a little cocoon stacked on top of each other when you really think about it, isn't it?
But a cocoon is probably more compact.
That's true. Less space. Maybe, Hayley, you could buy one of those little tiny houses. Have you guys seen those tiny houses? Yeah, and, you know, like they're always, you know, made from recycled materials or, you know, sustainable materials and things like that. And you can have a tiny little house where you have, like, you know, your bed, and then it folds up. And then you can put it anywhere.
Got a bathroom.
Yeah, you can just go live in a park.
I love them, except I went to visit one.
Oh yeah.
And I'm way too tall to fit in them.
Oh no.
I'm 6 foot 4.
I didn't even think of that. That is so true. He's like very tall. You can probably even tell. Hey, watch it. You can probably even tell sitting here like this. So this is why I shouldn't slouch and you should slouch, and then we'll even out. This is what this is what Jack looks like. And then I'll. This is way too much fun. Sorry. Once again, easily distracted.
Very easily distracted.
Yeah,
but I love the tiny house idea.
Yes, I like that too.
I could make just a tall one.
Consider, right? Just a tall version. Just all version.
All roof.
Height. Yeah. All right. So, I've got. Something has happened and everything has gone a bit different. But that's okay. No, it's all gone. But that's all right. We'll just go with it. We'll wing it as
we'll just do this for a bit longer.
Sarah from Raceview State School would like to know, does Australia have the most people in the world?
Oh, no. I don't know who does. We definitely don't have the most people in the world.
China.
Yeah, it'd be China, wouldn't it? What's their population?
I'm pretty sure. A lot of people. I don't know exactly what their population is. But I'm quite sure they have the biggest population in the world. So we are definitely not the
hang on,
biggest
we're getting a message.
At all.
China 1.4 billion is the highest. Next is India 1.4 billion.
Oh, there you go.
So that was China has 1.4 billion people. And India has 1.3, so they're the
billion.
Well, sort of close. I guess pretty close second. So that is significantly more than we have.
That is a
so
lot
then you look
more.
at how big our country is as well, though, and it's interesting. I know that we have, you know, some very, very hot places in Central Australia, which are, you know, might be a little bit more difficult to get to and to live in. But we have so much space compared to, you know, countries even in Europe and things like that, which are very small space-wise. So many people. So I guess that's one of the things people argue is, hey, Australia's a big place. We can have more people.
Exactly. There is a lot of land still, and the thing is, because a lot of people are moving to major cities, so Sydney, Melbourne. So if people spread out, expanded.
Yes.
There'd be a lot more room.
And then to do that, you need to have train systems and things like that, because a lot of people need to be able to commute and visit friends and things like that. So you can't just be like, hey, I'll go live out in the middle of nowhere. You probably also need hospitals and police stations and fire stations and everything like that. So it's like one of those things. If you've ever played The Sims, that's a game that I used to really like, and The Sims is all about that. You have to work out where to put your people. So this is like a real life where to put your people. Hang on, no, SimCity is what I meant. SimCity,
the government
sorry. The Sims is the one with the people and they all like live in.
That's when we zoom in on them.
SimCity is the one where you like have to put
the city. Well, maybe the government could start playing SimCity and decide and make it to look like Australia and then decide where everything's going to go. We should send Malcolm an email.
We should.
We'll do that later.
We should. Malcolm, I love that you're on first name terms with the Prime Minister. Now, James from Elmore Vale Public School would like to know how many different cultures come to Australia every year. Do you know from which countries and things?
I'm not too sure of the specifics. It's a good question though. It's very interesting. Obviously, we get people coming from all over the world, so it'd be hard to say where most people are coming from. Yeah.
I don't know. There are some stats about some countries that a lot of people come from, but we might have to see if we can find that potentially. Yeah, what are the sort of top countries where people are migrating from? Pretty sure the United States is in it, I think, and the UK.
The United States?
And potentially China. Yeah, I'm not sure. So Harrison would like to know, Harrison is from Grays Point Public School as well.
Hi, Harrison.
Hey, Harrison. Is Australia taking more refugees and migrants than any other country? And if so, why? And is that a major factor of population growth? And we're still going. I love it, Harrison. And will everyone still have enough money to live in the future? To live off in the future?
Wow. Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Yeah,
I really
very
like
good
that.
question.
So we've got a few parts to that. So tell me about, are we taking any more refugees and migrants than any other country? No. Is the answer to that, right?
Yeah, well, no. We do take in a lot. I wouldn't say it's more than other countries.
No, I don't think it is.
And that obviously does add to the population, and it increases the population. So
we definitely take more than some countries.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact stats, but I know that we're definitely not the one taking the most. The funny thing is that the refugee stat there, we actually only take a certain amount of refugees every year, and if I remember correctly, it's around a few thousand. It's not a massive number. So, it's more probably the migration there. And of course, refugees are people who desperately need to leave the country that they have come from. So, that's something that I guess as a country, as a wealthy country, a lot of people feel passionate about continuing to accept people, refugees and asylum seekers who, really need our help. It's probably more about the migrants because they are people who volunteer to move and want to move to Australia. So that's the difference there. And so what about having enough money, Jack?
Well, the good thing with having more people means that we're gonna need more houses, we're gonna need more hospitals, which means we're gonna need people building those hospitals. We're gonna have more people going into shops and buying things, and so you would hope that it would grow the economy. That's kind of the idea. Hopefully there's.
And I guess when you think about it, I guess there are other countries that have their populations have built a lot as well over the years, and you just expand.
You just keep expanding. So once they've got those hospitals, we need doctors and nurses. Once we've got new schools, we need more teachers.
Hey, more jobs for you guys.
More
when you get older.
Yeah.
So let me see. Ooh, something's happening again. Now you get to do the elevator music file, I think. All right. So Kaya, I hope I've said that right. From Grays Point Public School. Sorry guys if I ever mispronounce your name. It's hard when it's written down. In 2050, what will the environment be like with all the people? And will there be such a thing as houses, which you kind of touched on a little bit? But that's a good question.
Will there be such a thing? I like that. The environment, that's something that we've got to consider now. What's going to happen if more people are coming in? Obviously, there are issues going on around the climate and other things like that. So I don't know exactly what it would be like in 2050. And because we've also got to think about like resources like water and land and where we're going to put all these people. It's very interesting, that question. I do like the houses though.
Yeah, well, like we said, maybe some cocoons.
Maybe some
or small
cocoons.
houses.
Well, I was thinking,
if you guys have any ideas, let us know.
What, like, if people went to live in the desert, it would need to be cool. What if we built...
Yeah, I saw a desert question, but I just don't know where it is.
Well, you were saying it before. Even if we... What would we do? We could make houses that are, like,
underground.
igloos.
Oh, we could go underground.
I was going to say igloos.
Igloos.
But I don't think that's how igloos work.
It's my cough.
They're designed to keep people warm.
I think it's the other. Yeah, it's the other way around.
Okay.
We need the opposite. So, you know,
What if
in
we had...
Coober Pedy, they all live underground.
Do they?
Yeah, because it's really hot. Yeah,
There
South
you go.
Australia. Yeah, if you guys, some of you might know. Yeah,
We could live underground.
The kids are they've got to
Well, I was thinking, like,
everything's
what's cool and refreshing? A pool. We could all live in pools.
Ah, yes. But you know what would happen then? You'd get the wrinkly hands.
You would.
And that would be really annoying.
Okay,
when
I didn't
you get the
think that
wrinkly hands,
through.
you're just a bit like, but you'd have it all the time.
All right. What about, like, just
Yeah.
a mist that sprays cool air onto you?
I'm not sure is this still about population? I've lost it now. I've completely lost where we are. I know that somebody... I'm sorry, I'm having some slight technical difficulties again, and I'll try and find it. But I know that somebody was asking about a different planet. What's the closest planet, potentially? Or was it that's Earth-like planet? And I like that. And you would know who you are who asked that question. I'll see if I can find it for you.
Unfortunately, I don't think I don't think we've discovered it. We haven't discovered the nearest Earth-like planet. But if we did, we could all move there.
There have been a couple, but I think they're still so far away.
Yeah, that we haven't actually been able to go there.
Yes, and so we don't definitively know
yes.
if it is going to be
so we've found planets that look like they could be Earth-like, which is really exciting. But yeah, once we find one, maybe we'll go visit, and then we won't be moving to Sweden.
Well,
we'll move to...
I think we still could. Some people can go to Sweden. When some of the Swedish people go... Oh, Joshua asked the question. Thank you,
Thanks,
Joshua. You know you answered that one. You asked that one, sorry. Thank you very much. So Michael from Lempervale Primary School would like to know what percentage of Australians are children right now. That's a good question, but I don't know.
Define child.
Should we say how about like under 18-year-olds? We'll see if we can find that for you, because that's an interesting question.
We will. That is a very interesting question. We could count.
And that probably that might fluctuate. I know that sometimes in some places as well there is an older population. In some states, less kids, less young people.
Yeah.
And other ones there are more young people. So yes.
And the interesting thing, and
I'm sorry, I completely ignored your joke. You said something funny, and I completely kept talking. I'm sorry.
What I was going to say is the interesting thing is they're finding that, a couple of years ago, a lot of families didn't want to live in cities, and they would rather move out to suburban areas where they could have a family and
have a bit more space.
Have a bit more space, have a house with a backyard. But now, a lot of families are moving back into the city, or people are starting their families in the city. So you've got a lot of families living in apartments, and you've got all these new schools that need to be built in the cities. So yeah.
Hey, Jack,
Hey, Amelia.
Did we work out how much the population is growing? Like, what are we foreseeing? Did we talk about that?
We did talk a bit. So
I'm just curious.
So last year it rose by 400,000. So
is there a projection? So like, do you know, for instance, Jack from Moonee Ponds West would like to know.
Good name.
Great name, Jack. By 2070, how many people do you think there will be in Australia?
All right, let's do some maths.
Yeah, good question.
400,000.
I don't think last time we did math
it didn't work.
Didn't really work so well. With Jack, he's not great at maths. He's good at English.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's an exact estimation. There could be. There very well could be, because like I said before, in the late 90s they predicted that in 40 years it was going to be 25 million, and we're already reaching that. So chances are, if they have predicted that, it could be wrong.
That's
or it could
true.
Be right.
So who knows?
We'll have to wait until 2070 to see.
2070.
Wow.
I saw a question as well.
I feel like it should go and then it goes to us in 2070.
2070. Would we even still be alive in 2070? Gosh, that was dark, wasn't it?
Yes.
How far? Yeah.
If not, we'd be like our heads would be in jars.
We'd be very old. Oh, or our subconscious would have been downloaded onto a computer and we still exist.
Wow.
On that computer.
That's something to think
about. Think about that, guys.
Kids
yes.
Australia, 19% of Australia is kids
under
15.
There you go. So 19% of Australia's population are kids under 15.
There you go. So that answers that one. Now, we better wind things up, actually. But I just want to finish on... Sorry, Jack, this one's for me.
I'll just go over here.
You're done. You finished. That's fine. So now it's about me. Right? Oh, sorry. I was going to move over. That's all right. Olympia Vale Public School or Primary School. Ruby would just like to say, I love your dress. Thank you, Ruby.
Oh.
Do you know what? It's actually a play suit. But you can't see the bottom of it, so it's got little short things. But I really appreciate that compliment.
I like your
My ears.
Yeah.
I have. Everyone's been calling them ears today. They're a little bit like Mickey Mouse ears.
I feel like I need.
You notice I've lost the braids? They're all gone. It's all back to the curly hair. You need something? I'll get some hair ties. We'll work on that after this.
No.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for another week of Ask the Reporter. We always love having you and all of your amazing questions.
Yes.
So that's it. What was it? Oh, we're having a week off next week.
Yes. For Easter.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's Easter next week.
Yes. And you've actually got a story that you've been working on.
I have been working on a story. Hint, hint, I get to hold a very cute, fluffy animal, and it might not necessarily be the one you're thinking of. So there you go. So yeah, week off next week for Easter. We hope you have a lovely long weekend next week, and we'll see you after that for another Ask a Reporter. So the next Friday after Easter. Thanks so much. Have a good weekend, guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.